Good day guys, you're welcome to yet another video with the code cracking. Thank you guys if you have clicked this video and you actually want to learn more on coding and tutorials and other stuff. So thank you so much. I remain the code cracking and I'm sharing coding tutorials through projects and walkthroughs. Okay, so if this is your first time watching my video and if this is your first video of mine watching, I wouldn't actually recommend for you to watch this video right now. I will recommend you to go to my previous video, which the link is actually in the description. So go to my previous video and watch that completely so you can actually have a full insight on what we're doing in this video. So pretty much what we're going to be doing in this video, we're going to be continuing the plus or minus 50 tags that we couldn't finish in my previous video. And why we couldn't finish that is not because of time, it's not because of just pretty much anything. I actually wanted this to be a separate video, a separate topic for us to actually discuss, because it's actually as much as it's pretty much important as knowing HTML itself. Is a section of HTML which we're going to be discussing. And what we're going to be doing is HTML input types. So there's nothing much to talk about today. What HTML input types mean, or that is not pretty much anything we need to discuss, but for the sake of educational purposes I will actually talk a little on that. So HTML input types are a set of tags and syntax that you use to actually input values or data into your web your website. So pretty much the HTML input types are used in creating forms, and I believe we all know what forms are, just like your name, address, and pretty much all this stuff. So we're not talking a lot today. We're not actually going to be looking at a lot of slides. We're actually going to jump right into the coding. Okay, so right here I have my desktop, and if you have followed from the previous video, you guys actually already know what this is. This is the last website we created in our previous video, the HTML tutorial. So what I will do is I will go to my text editor, which is Visual Studio Code. I'll open that up. Okay, so I have the welcoming page and I explained what this is. You can choose to or not to, but I always choose to actually see the welcoming page. I do not need this. Okay, so what's going to happen right now is I'm going to create a new file just by clicking Ctrl N, and the next step is to save this file. And following the rules of HTML, we ought to save this with index.html, but we already have an index.html file and I do not want to actually overwrite that, so I'll just give it a different name. I'll give it the name of input tags.html. Oops, that should be tags.html. Right, so this .html extension is actually very important. Just take note of that. And I'm just going to put in my basic HTML structure tags, my doc type, HTML, head, title, and under the head I'll have body. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is open this up in my web browser, and you can do this in many ways, but the way which I prefer is to actually open my web browser. Normally I use Microsoft Edge, but today I want to make a change. I'll use Google Chrome. So I open up Google Chrome, a new tab, and I click on Ctrl+O, and I open this up, input tags, in my web browser. So right now you see that the content is blank because we actually haven't put in anything. Even this is the tab right here is the same with what we saved our file as. We can actually change that to the title, and I'll just call this input types tutorial. Okay guys, so pretty much at the end of this video we're actually going to have a project and it's a very minor project. It's not something that is a bit too stressful, where we're going to use our skills and knowledge of these tags to create a form. And actually have the form right here on my system. We're going to try our best to duplicate it. So I'd like you guys to follow along and learn as much tags as you can. So we're not going to jump right into the form input steps. We're actually going to use the table tags for now, because the table tags are a lot easier to master than the form tags, because the form tags are a bit much. So what we're going to do right now is that we're going to create a table using the HTML table tags. And for those of you that have been following, you already know what I like to do. For the sake of note taking, I'll leave this in a comment and I'll call this table tags. Oh, oops, I said table. Table tags. Okay, so in our table tag, to create a table, we actually have to start with the tag table. So we have the tag table, the opening and the closing tag. We give this an enter to go to the next line, and under our table, what we're supposed to have next is a table head. And your table head is just pretty much like it's pretty much just the table head, like it says. So in creating a table tag, if you remember quite well, when creating a list, you don't just write list, or you don't just write unordered list. There's some other stuff you have to put in. Like when you create an unordered list, you put ul and then you follow it with some lis. Okay, so in the table tag, what you do is you put a table, you put a t head, and the next is the tr. Okay, so tr stands for table row, and like it's a row where you actually see the context of your table or whatever. So if we save this and refresh this, we're still going to see nothing, because we're just giving this some tags. We've naturally put some content in it. So we're gonna put in th, and th also stands for table head, but it's not written as table head because your table head represents the block of rows that consist in the column labels for the parent table element, whereas the th is the element that represents a header cell in the table. Perfect. So VS Code already explains that for us. You can go on and pretty much read all this stuff, but we're not going to do that right now. So I want to create a table with three headings, which are name, email, and age. So what I'll do right here, I'll put name, then I'll copy this and paste it 2 more times. Oops, tab. And name, email, and age. So I'll change these names to email and age. Now if we save that and reload, we actually have going to see some content. Right there we see name, email, age, and we see that this actually is in bold. It's kind of bold, in a bold format. That's to signify that this is a head, like a very important cell, like the VS Code already told us to create in our table. Hope that's quite understandable. Alright, so this is the table row and the table head, and we want to put some information in this. We want to put someone's name, someone's email, and someone's age. So to do that, we're actually going to create a new tag rather, still inside the table tag. Note, do not leave the table tag. So while inside the table tag, we're going to say tbody, and that stands for tbody, and that's pretty much everything you want to be in the body of your table. So if you hover around this, you can see represents the block rows and consists of body of data and so on and so forth. So in our tbody, we're just like the t head where we have tr. In our tbody, we're also going to have a tr, and instead of putting th for t head, we're going to do td, and td stands for table data. That's pretty much what you want to see in your table. Let me just minimize this. It's okay, that's just pretty much what you want to see in the table. So for someone's name, I will just say John Doe. That should be John Doe. Alright, if we save and refresh, we see that under name we have John Doe. and we do that for email and age. So I'll just copy paste this. Oops, copy paste, delete this. So John Doe, and we can have the email would be John Doe at something.com, and the age of John Doe should be 35. We save and refresh that, we actually have this. So this is actually quite ugly because generally in a table you should have demarcations right here, but we can't have those because we're using only HTML, and if we want to get those we use CSS, and we're not doing CSS in this video. That's going to be a video for later. So let's keep on, let's go on. We create a new table row for another person's name, email, and pretty much just all this stuff. I can copy this, paste. So instead of John Doe, I'll say John Smith. I don't know why I'm attracted to the name John today. Okay, John Doe, John Smith at something.com, and I'll say John Smith should be 37. Yeah, and we see that John Smith is John Smith at something.com and 37, pretty much. So I'll just get that in one last time for one last person. And I'll change this to John John Speed. I'm quite a National Speed fan. John Speed, and I say John Speed at something.com, and John Speed should be 25. Alright, that's actually pretty much it. We have actually created a table using HTML only, and that's all. That's it. This is the table. It's quite a simple process if you just follow it accordingly. You have the table head, table row, th, close it, table head, close the table head, start a new table body, and so on. So guys, we're actually done with the table, and we're going to the main session, the main lesson today, and that's the form input types. So we actually have a list of input types that we're going to be using and discussing rather. So I'll say comment, form, just form, yeah. Okay, so I usually like to arrange stuff in alphabetical order, and that's what I've actually done for the form input types. They arranged in alphabetical order, and you can use them in whatever order you like, whatever sequence you like. It doesn't have to be pretty much what we do. What you just have to do is write the same syntax, because it's the same tags, and have a pretty much a good and valid content in it. So first on our list is the button type, and that's the input type button, and there's no A for the input tags. We're actually starting with B. So there are actually two ways to do the input type button. The first way is using input type. So that's the first way we're going to do. We're going to say inputs, and if you're using VS Code, you're going to see a lot of this. So we say input button, and the value should be, you can put in whatever value you want, or say click me, and name, yeah, and the name should also be click me. Alright, so if we save and reload that, we see that we have a button right here which says click me, and it's actually quite clickable. Okay, so this is a button, and that's just the first input type on the list. So I'll give this let's just say another horizontal line. Right. Alright, so if you're doing a form, you actually want there to be something called your form headings, but you're not going to call it form headings. They're actually called labels. So to do a label tag, you actually just say label tab. You don't have to bother about this right now, and you can say that this is a button. Not to say this is a button. But so why can't I type button today? Okay, so we save that. We see that this is a button, and the button is next to this label tag. Click me, click. We can click on it, and I I will also comment this out. Yeah. Oof. This is button tab. Button. Oops. Button. Not bottom. Okay. So right there we have the button tag, and the next tag is not a B tag anymore. We're going to the C tag right now, which is the checkbox tag. And these tags are pretty much simple because they're in high level language. It's a language that both humans understand. And checkbox, like the name implies, is just a box where you can click and it's to give you a check. So I will say a comment again. Pardon me, I'm not a very fast typer. And I'll say check box, right? Okay, I'll have another label, and I don't need to put anything right here right now. And I'll say what will I say? I'll just say car. Yeah, car, and I'll say input type. Okay, let's type this in ourselves without VS Code doing it for us. Input, we see type equals to checkbox. Oops, checkbox. So we can actually do that. And if we say close this, we actually see that we have car. We have a checkbox where we can click and check and uncheck it. So basically, when you're creating a form, you actually want to have a lot of these, as you'll see in our project. So I'm actually going to pick up the page so that we can actually get to the project and put all of these tags in action. And the next tag is the color tag. And what the color tag just basically allows you to do is allows you to select a color. Okay, so I can copy this, copy paste, and I'll say select color. Select color, right? So the input type will then be color. Save and reload. We actually see that we can actually choose any color we want using the RGB or just basically using your normal colors. So my favorite color is green, by the way, so I'll just leave this in green. But if I refresh it, it'll be gone. Oh, so sad. Okay, that's it. The color tag allows you to select a color. The checkbox tag allows you to, well, checkbox. And the next tag we're going to be looking at is the date tag, and that allows you to select a date. So you can use that for date of birth, date of employment, date of pretty much anything. And I'll say dates. The label should just be date, not dates. Why can't I type properly today? Date. Okay, so the input type will also be date. Right, so if we save that and refresh, what went wrong? Seems like we have an error in our code. Input type date. Oh, we're supposed to have some names and IDs. Dates. That should work right now. Right. Okay, so I skipped a few points right there. So right here we see that we have an input type button, a value of click me, and the name of click me. You actually want to do this pretty much for every single tag. I don't usually use that. I don't know why I keep forgetting that. We're supposed to have a name, and this ID is actually not needed right now. This is pretty much when we're going to CSS, we use IDs and class. So I will keep this in mind to use the type and name. So the date tag, you can choose a date right here, say first of pretty much. You can even go to any year of your choice. I actually went to 3000 and was it 3055, or you can select today, and that's the 22nd of April 2025. Okay, we're moving on, and the next tag right there is the date time tag. So that allows you to select a date and a time. So I'll just call this date time. Okay, so before lest I forget, let me add the name. Okay, so the input type will just be date time, and you see that's already VS Code already gives that out for us. And the name will also be date type, date time, right? I need to put a HR right here. Okay. Oh, this should be date time. Date time. Oops. Date time. Yeah. And it gives you this. This is wrong. This shouldn't be. What's going on? Input type. Input type date time name date time. Oh, I guess that's how it is. Huh. That's kind of strange. It wasn't like this the way when I tried it. I guess this pretty much the datetime tag. I have not used this tag ever in my life of writing any single line of code. I've never actually made use of the datetime tag. I won't lie to you, I've never made use of it because I don't see any need of it when you actually have already the date tag and you actually have the time tag. But well, it's for learning purposes anyways. Okay, the next tag is the date time local tag. Let's see, date time. Oops, I forgot I copied that already. I'm making mistakes. Okay, I'll copy this. I'll paste this right here. So date time local, and that's just pretty much the date and time in your local environment. So let's actually put that in date. So we say date time local. Local, whatever. Local, right? Okay, so we see we actually can select the dates, we can select the time, and we can select it from our calendar. You can select it today, you can select whatever time you want, and that's pretty much it. That should work like the date time tag, unless if it's a tag no more valid in HTML5. I have to go check that out. Okay, so the next tag is the E tag. We're going to E, and there's actually a tag called email tag, and that's the tag we're going to talk about. So before they included this tag in HTML5, people usually use text to actually write emails. So I can say example at email.com, whatever. But the email tag actually checks if that email is actually valid, if it's a real email. So that's pretty much useful. Let's see, email, and the comment will also be email. Okay, so if you notice something, all our input types are lowercase, and that is how it should be. Your labels can be uppercase, your comments can be uppercase, but your input type and name should be lowercase. So we can say email, and name should also be email, and yeah, oops, email. So it looks like it's pretty much just a normal text type tag that you can write any text, but you can actually see that it opens emails. If you use the tag text, it won't give you this option to select emails, and all these emails came up because they are valid emails and they're already stored on the computer. So yeah, email tag. Next is F, which is the file tag, and what the file tag allows you to do is to choose a file from your computer, or pretty much, yeah, just pretty much from your computer. And that file tag is useful mostly in school application forms where you're asked to submit a file of your previous results or of your date of birth, your birth certificate, or any other thing. So and when we save that, we have choose file, and over here we have no file chosen, and that's true, we haven't chosen a file. So we can choose a file. I can select index and open it, and it will tell me index.html. That's the file that I've chosen, right? But we're not using that right now. Still on F. Oh, okay, we've used the file tag already. Oh my god, I thought I had to repeat that. We're going to H now, sorry. The H is the hidden tag, and this tag is my worst tag in HTML. I don't even know why it even exists, because What the hidden tag does is that it actually hides info, so you're not going to see anything. If I call this a hidden, if I name this hidden, yeah, no, not hidden, it's, you're actually not going to see anything because, well, as the name implies, it's hidden. I do not know why this is still a tag in HTML5, but well, people have their reasons. Okay, the next tag is I, and that's the image tag. And if you watched the previous video, I already showed you how to import an image, and there's actually a tag called image tag, which allows you to select an image from your computer, such as your passport, your ID, and whatever. So image, name, image. Really need to pick up my pace in typing. So right here you can see that there's no image. What you can do is you can put a link to your image, or you can put a direct image right there, but no, we're not doing that, just to show you. Okay, so the next tag is the month tag. So we have B C D E F, no, G H I, no, J K L M L M. Okay, month tag. And the month tag allows you to select a month of the year. These tags are pretty much useful only in creating forms. That's just pretty much the use of all these tags when creating a form. So month, and I take this out and say month. Save this and reload. You can actually select any months of the year. You can choose to June, which will give you May 2025. Didn't I say June? Oh, June. And you can choose this month, which is April 2025. Okay, the next tag is the number tag, and the number tag is pretty much useful when writing, well, you guessed it, numbers. So the number tag only allows you to write numbers. You can't actually write text in it. So I'll call this number. I think VS Code number, yeah. So if this reload, and right here I'm trying to write F from my keyboard, but I can't write it. I can't use any letters, only numbers. So this right here just pretty much allows you to say 1, 0, -1. You can just write any other number you want to run right there. So pretty much useful. After the number tag, oh, I said number, that's my bad. Okay, there's a tag which you usually use, you have used that when applying for jobs online or any other thing, and that's password tag, where they tell you to log in and you have to input your password, or you have to confirm your password. So let's do just that, and that'll be password tag, password. Okay, so I'll take this as a password, and the input type will be password also. Password, VS Code, and another password. Okay, so if we save this and reload this, when you write anything, it actually puts it in bullets, and you can modify this in your CS code. Sorry, I said CS code, in your CSS, if you want this to be asterisks or whatever. There should be an icon right here where you should be able to see your password. Label for password. I guess I still have a lot to learn. I did see a where you could choose to, that icon that you can choose to see your password, but well, okay, well, that's pretty much the password. You can put in this and it's hidden from the person. Okay, so the next tag on our list is the radio tag, and it's not the radio, the radio you're probably thinking of is actually a tag, not the one that gives you frequency modulation. So we see radio, input type radio, And the radio tag is pretty much like the checkbox tag, unless that it's just that it gives you that circle where you could click and it fills that circle, not completely. Let me just stop talking and show you guys. Radio. Okay, so before this I would like to say boy, and I'll pretty much just have another one to say girl. And yeah, girl. So we save this and reload. Oops. Right, so we actually see this that we can click on boy and we can click on girl. So we see it allows you to select, is it a boy or is it a girl. So that's actually quite helpful. All right, we're almost done with the HTML tags, guys. It's I know it's kind of long, but this is what we have to do. Next tag is the range tag, and if you actually also watch the previous video, we used a tag which is kind of similar, which was the meter tag and the progress tag. So the range just allows you to pick a range of values or pretty much anything. I have not also used this tag because I do not have any project that needs me to use it. So let's see what becomes of me. Okay, I didn't close this. Let's read double quotes. Right. Oh, looky. Okay, this stuff has gone down. So I will do something quickly to bring it, just push it up. Oops, not this. Let's push it up a bit. So this will be div style margin bottom and 500 pixels. Okay. Oops. I am making mistakes a lot today. Oh, okay, this is my bad. This ought to be the style, right? What we're supposed to have is margin bottom, and right here I should have my 500 pixels, and I close my div. Okay, so this is all wrong. Let me go use Microsoft Edge and open this HTML tutorial, input tags. Okay, and in Microsoft Edge is actually giving me what I want, and it's now giving me what I want in Chrome. Well, anyways, they're all the same, just pretty much just the displays. So you can choose a range of values, you can edit this however, whatever way you like. Okay, so the next tag is called the reset tag, and it's pretty much like the button tag, except that instead of having a button, it says reset. And what that does is that whatever I'll get rid of this. Whatever form you're filling and you click on the reset tag, all your information just pretty much just goes away. And that's actually quite helpful. It sounds like it's not, but it's actually quite helpful when you make a lot of mistakes and you just want to start over. Reset, and this should be reset. Oops, reset, and this is reset. Okay, so if we save this, we actually have the no HR here, HR and HR. Okay, so reset, we actually have this is also a button type. So we have click me, we have reset, and that's just what it is. Okay, and the next tag is the tel tag. That's the telephone tag, and it's pretty much like the number tag, except it's actually specified for telephone numbers. So it's also tel this guy to here will be tel, and there. So you can actually pretty much write your telephone number, and you can also write text, but we actually want to follow the rules and say plus 011 2 and just anything right there. Okay, the next tag is pretty much the most used input tag in the world, and that's text, which allows you to pretty much write any single thing you want. You can use it to write numbers, you can use it to write alphabet, alphanumeric symbols, and some other stuff. So we have a text, and you can write anything you want. Yeah, anything at all. That's quite nice. So the text tag following the text tag, we have the time tag. What that does, well, time just helps you to check time, not check time, sorry, input time. Okay, you can have a form where you say time submitted, and you actually put in the time you submitted that form or that employment letter or that request or that message, whatever. And right here you see time, you have this click like icon, click, I can click whatever time you want. Pretty helpful. The second to the last tag on our list is the URL tag. And if you actually know what URL is, Uniform Resource Locator, that just pretty much serves as a link. And we actually have a tag called the anchor tag, which helps you to link documents, link web pages, link pretty much anything. So what the URL tag does is that it gives you this option, pretty much looks like the text tag, but it's not. You cannot input anything right here. It looks like you can input text, but what you have to do right now is to put a valid URL. And I do not actually use this in most of my projects. I just make use of main tags, which I'm going to just talk about later. So the URL just allows you to input the URL of, I can input this, the URL of image on the internet, and when you click on submit, it will actually check if this is a valid URL, just like the email tag checks whether the email is valid. Okay, so the last tag on our list for us to actually learn is the week tag. And I'm not saying week like I'm weak because I'm actually weak. I'm saying week like days of the week. Okay, so the week tag is week, and it allows you to input any week. So right here, click on this calendar. You can see Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. You see week 14. We're actually in the 17th week of the year. That's nice. You can click this week 17, 2025, and week 16, 2025, pretty much whatever you want. Okay guys, we're actually done with all the input tags right now, and also the table tags. So guys, if you've stayed up to this video, to this part of the video, that's kudos to you. It's not easy to be patient and watch you guys speak for nearly an hour. Thank you, that's quite supportive. And now what we need to do is to use these tags to create or rather duplicate a form. So this is Control S. I'll create a new tag, a new file rather, and I'll also save it to my HTML tutorial, and I'll call this form duplicate one. Yeah, okay, .html. I almost forgot about that. .html. Okay, so there we have form duplicate one.html. So I'm going to open that up in Google Chrome. It's going to be plain text. I'll open up another, which is the form we want to duplicate. So looking at this is quite a basic form. It doesn't have any CSS in it. There's no margins, no padding, no divs. just basic HTML, and we're going to duplicate this and make it look almost exactly as it should be. Okay, so I'll get in my basic HTML structure. I don't need the Copilot. Okay, and I'll close that body. VS Code right there. So this is going to be I'll just call this form duplicate. Right, so we're gonna save this. So we're gonna be switching through these tabs to actually take a look and build this. So I'm not going to actually teach you guys how to build this. I'm just going to build it by myself and just say what I'm doing, because I believe by now, using those previous videos, you should actually already know what this is. And I'll just say it again. This looks like a h1 tag, and all these others are just, just the form tags we actually learned today. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to say h1, and this is the application form. Okay, cool. Okay, so we have there's a lot of line break right here, and you can use CSS to do this, but we're not using CSS, we're using HTML. So I'll just put some BR tags just twice. Excuse me. And this is a label called first name, and first name is a text. So we're going to have I'll just create this in a new line. Label, this is called first name, and VS Code. Why didn't you create something right? Name to be first name, and I'm gonna say input type is text, name equals to first name. Okay, so there we have it. This even looks a bit finer. This is quite bluer. Okay, this looks nice. It's actually pretty much the same. Just I feel like this gap right here is bigger than this, so I'll just let me just examine that out. So next we have the last name, and we just use the simple copy and paste. Oops, copy paste, and last name. Okay, so this should be also be last name. Oops, why can't I? Okay, last name. Okay, and that reminds me, there was something I didn't talk about. So there's some forms that you see that when you want to submit, I have not completed some inputs, some things you have to input, maybe you skip them, it will actually not allow you to submit that. That's because those inputs are required. You have to fill in to move to the next stage, just pretty much like that. So what we also want to make our application form required, so that when we click on submit, it's if you have not put in the correct inputs for all these labels, you're not going to be allowed to submit it. And what we're gonna do to do that is inside this HTML, inside this input type, after the name, we just leave a space and just say required. Okay, so that's, and we can still have read only. And what read only does is that it doesn't allow them to actually input anything. So if we click on this, we can't type anything, but we actually want them to type something in, so we say required. Right. So if you hover around this, you see please fill in this field, and we're going to say required for pretty much every single thing we're going through. All right, okay, so let's see what's next. Date of birth. All right, yeah, I'll copy this, and this, the label is date of birth, date of birth. Right, okay, the input type is date, the name also be date. So let's check out how that is. Okay, so we see that everything is going on in the same line because we do not have a line break. This is no break. This is just an inline stuff, but we want this to go to the next line like the way it is in our form. To do that, we just simply add a line break tag. That should take it. Oops, so I put in line break for date of birth. That should be in the last name. Yeah, okay. So we see that that takes it to the next line, and there's a gap right here, and we also want that. So we put in another line break. Not there. Okay, cool. Perfect. So it's pretty much almost the same thing. Okay, so what's next on our form is to write in age, and your age is a number. So copy this. I feel like I've already copied that before. Let me say age number, and name should also be number. So we save this. Cool. Right. Yeah. And we cannot write text in here. So my age is 15, and I can just keep on doing that. So right here we have to put a double line break since we're going to the next line for gender. Okay, so there's a funny stuff right here. So in the gender, they didn't use an input type, they actually use an option tag. So I'll just try and also recreate that, and I think I also talked about that in our index. So I'll call this gender. Whoops, gender. I have to say option, and option value should be male. Right, option value should be male. Not pretty much sure of what I'm doing right here. Male. Okay. Nah. Oh, there's something that should be right here. This is supposed to be surrounded in something. Okay. Okay, I can't replicate this. Okay, is this a select? This should be select, right? Select. Put this option right in here. Oh, perfect. Right, it is. Right. Oh, that is such a relief. I still remember my codes. Good. Okay, so they used a select attribute, and what that allows you to do, it creates a drop down for you to actually select. So right, you see that it's pretty much duplicated male, that stuff, and we have only male. So we're going to create another one. It should be down. What am I doing? Let's close this, right? And this should also be moved to the next line, just for right. Okay, so we copy this, see, and paste this right back here, and instead of value female, we say value female. So instead of value male, we have value female, and it should be a female. Female. Okay, so we see that it's actually expanded as it is right here. So we click on this male, female, you can select, and I am a male, not a female. Okay, so we actually have made use of the select tag, and I hope that is actually my previous video. If it isn't, you guys are seeing now. Select tag gives you that drop down menu. Okay, let's speed up the pace. Next we have the email address, and okay, again we can actually just recreate that by taking any of these ones right here, and this ought to be required, but required, yeah. So if we hover around this, we should have fill in the required field, but we're not filling in anything. It's just for you to select between male and female. and let me just say for governmental purposes I'll put in others. Yeah. So it matches male, female, and this. Okay, so what's next? Email address, right? So we copy this right here, copy this, and say label for not needed right now, email address, right? Not the abbreviation, thank you. Email address, and right here we say email, and the name will be email required also. So we have that. And if you look here, you actually see that there's a faint writing of enter email address, and that's done with something. Sorry, that's done with something we call a placeholder. Okay, there's a way I actually did it once, and I learned my lesson. Give it a value. I give it a value of enter. Okay, enter email address. So if we save that and reload, we'll actually see this enter email address right here, but it's something that's already written, and anytime they reload it, they see it and they have to highlight it to delete it, and you don't want them to be in your client to be inconvenienced in any way. So what you're going to do, instead of putting value, you're going to give it a placeholder right here, and then we see that enter email address becomes faint, like just like this. And when you click on it, you can just write, you can just pretty much type on it or anything, and when you delete it, it goes back to enter email address. So that's pretty good. And next we have positions available: junior developers, mid-level developer, and senior developer. Okay, so this is this would be reset, sorry, developer. I'm not actually used to Chrome. Okay, junior developer, mid-level developer, and senior developer, and this is made by the radio tag. So we're going to copy paste this back in, and yeah, we'll change this to positions available. Cool. We have the input type of radio. Yeah, I'll actually delete this to get it correctly. I can just write radio. No, not really. Input type of, look for it right here, radio. And the name for this is junior developer. So I'll just say, I don't want to write that fully, just say JD, and here I can say junior developer. Sorry. So if that's reload, we have junior developer as a position available, and we have to add a line break right here, as it is a double line break actually, as it is in the form we're trying to recreate. Okay, so we have that in a junior developer. We'll copy this twice so that we can have senior and mid-level and senior. Yeah, so this would be mid-level developer, and I do not need this. Oh, I just stressed myself right now. Developer. Okay, and where is the VS Code? And I have senior developer right here. Senior developer. So I'll change this to MD and also change this to SD. And now, voila, we can switch between senior, junior, or whatever. Okay, we shouldn't be able to select all three of this. Let me check something quickly. Seems like I made a mistake. That's input size, right? Yeah. Between boy and girl, we can select one, right? Okay, so why didn't I think I made a mistake right here? Pardon me. Checkbox. No. Radio input type. Okay, I don't think is it because we gave it a name. Let me see this all should be radio. Radio is the ID that can be something else, so that we can grab onto it and style it whatever way we like. Radio, right? So this should work perfectly right now. Let's open this again. Okay, we should wait to select one at a time. Perfect. Yeah, because you can't select all, so you're either a junior developer, a mid-level, or a senior. Right now I consider myself as a junior developer actually. Okay, we're almost done with this, and we have programming languages. The next, no, say HR, right? No one using HR. That's going PR twice. Okay, oops, PR twice. Okay, so I'll just copy this one, Control C, paste it right here, and our label is programming languages. Programming languages. Okay, so I would have just copied the label only. I do not need this. I'm actually going to write the input. That's an input of checkbox, and the name is checkbox. And the ID right here, what we have is Java, JavaScript, and Python. So for us, we're going to say HTML, not VS Code. Sometimes I feel like VS Code doesn't even like me. Let's Control C, Control V, and Control V. Okay, so that's for us. We're going to be using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. You can use anything, any single thing you want. You can put it any way you want. You can say, is it mommy, is it dad? That's pretty much anything you want. So we save and reload this. We have this, and we can check is it HTML using CSS or JavaScript. So you can actually check. The checkbox allows you to take the tree because it knows you are either a master in HTML or you know. So I'm a junior developer in all three of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. If I say I'm a mid developer, I'm a mid developer in HTML and CSS. I am a senior developer in only only HTML. So that's just pretty much the checkbox tag in action. Alright, so the last two things we have are JavaScript BR and BR. Okay, so we have the password, and we are going to take this guy right here, just the label, and password, input type, input password. The name is password, and save that and reload. We actually have where we can type in a password. I'm going to have another saying confirm password. Okay, Ctrl V and confirm password. and it's pretty much just the same name, password, input type, password, and yeah. So save that and reload. We have password and confirm password. So the last two inputs we have are pretty much just the submit and the reset button. So both of them are buttons, but you can actually choose whether you want them to be buttons in your VS Code or whatever text editor you're using. So what I could write right now is I could do this by saying button, and I'll say submit, right? Submit. So if we do that, that will give us this, and it's pretty much the same thing. Let me just make BR tags. So we have to submit, and we can also say button button reset. So this is actually, I said reset. Cool. So this is actually a quicker way to do this instead of writing input types. It's pretty much just the same thing, but we'll do something later. So but this is not the way we're gonna do it. This is not the, I'll call it the inputty way. That sounds quite weird. So I'll put this in a comment actually, so that you guys know we're not using this right now, but it's still a way for you to do the button type. So what we're gonna have is the input button value submit, right? And that's pretty much just leaves it the way it is, and we say have the same here. You see input value this ought to be reset. Yeah, reset value should also be reset. Okay, so guys, we are actually done with this project. To me it looks like we've actually trashed it, and it looks the same. This doesn't, yeah, this looks pretty much the same with our own HTML. So I do not know why that closed up. Do that again. So if you guys have second thoughts, you can actually leave that in the comments, and you can say whatever HTML project we should do, and we'll do it together. So I just want to quickly just let's say, okay, so I'll leave in some information right there. So my name is D Code, my last name is Kraken. Oops, Kraken. My date of birth, that's January what? When was I born? January 2020. I just say today, honestly. I am 15. I am a male. My address is the code kraken at gmail.com. Okay, not Gmail, gmail.com. I am a mid developer in HTML and CSS. My password is 123456789, and again 123456789. So reset should actually clear every single thing, but we have not given it an action of what to do. It's just a button right there. So we're supposed to give it an action, and that's way beyond this course. So submit. Hey, I submitted. Cool. So reset, gone. Alright guys, once again, I am the Code Kraken, sharing coding tutorials through projects and walkthroughs. We've actually done our first project, a form duplicate. If you guys have any troubles with HTML, you can leave that in the comments. Any questions, and I will attend to you. Thank you guys so much. If you have stayed this long, please don't forget to subscribe to my tutors, Transversing Media, and also subscribe to the Code Kraken. so you can receive more and more of these kinds of videos. Please leave a like, and I'll see you guys in another video. Peace. Thank you.